been on those meetings that we try to have some board members or governing council attend. I know that that's a big thing that the governing or the PEC really look at. And I think the more representation we have from the governing council will help us to get out of their status of the monthly attending the meetings. Just from previous conversations and looking at the people that have been on their agendas, they like that. And they'll, if you're there, I mean, when that time when we had our session, everyone was in attendance, they seemed to like that. That was something that made them, that pleased them. So just moving forward, I think it would be just a good idea if we could have at least 2 of the 5 members, if not everybody, in attendance for that meeting. So that was just a comment just based off of what I've seen. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Thomas, for that comment.
I don't think we could have 3 because then it would be a quorum. It would be a meeting.
Oh, I think she said 2. Am I correct?
She said at least 2, yeah.
Yeah. So somebody else gets on, jump off. Let's get it. Tag team. Okay, and this one doesn't need a motion or any action, just information updates.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Now we'll go to D, financial school budget report. Ms. Archuleta.
Okay. Let me share my document. This is the financial summary for the month of January. We received $92,241.73 in revenue, which of that, $22,522.34 was from the previous year, which CCCSD had just paid us. Well, they were a little late on paying us. I believe they had a financial a change in one of their employees at the top level. And we did receive an outdoor equity grant, which they fronted the money, and most of it is for field trips, knowledge keepers, and there was some in there for the administrative costs. So Nadine is working with the school and trying to plan some events for the school. Our expenditures for the month of January was $68,847.40. Our year-to-date revenue, $604,916.09. Year-to-date expenditures is, excuse me, $565,841.43. And our current bank balance on January 31st was $163,063.68. This is the activity in the month of January. And the only unusual items were these multiple payments to benefits boosters. And it takes them a while. For some reason, they can't get the invoices right, and I don't pay them until they have the correct employees on the invoices. So they fixed them and I paid them out. And that's part of an all-state additional benefits that we provide for the employees. We have, this is the.
Excuse me, Charlotte.
Yes?
Are you sharing?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay.
Let me try again. Oh, there you go. Sorry about that. Thanks, Nadine. So this is the funding that we received that CCSD paid us barely in January from the previous year. It's Title I and Title II funding. And here is the outdoor equity grant. But this is the only abnormal, the multiple payments for benefits booster because of their invoicing. Here's the bank. These are the items that reconciled in the month of January, and we did, some of the stale dated checks did go through. Our office manager reached out to them. These are the outstanding checks. This $5.37 cleared the bank already. This, we have to reprint this check because they said they'd never received it. And this $50 check we need to void because the employee left before we were able to give her this check. It was a reimbursement for some classes that she took. We reconciled, this is the bank reconciliation with the zero variance. This is a statement of revenue and expenditure report for year-to-date by fund. Gives us a total revenue of $604,916.09 and a total expenditures of $565,841.43. In January, this is the breakdown by fund, totaling $92,241.73 in revenue and $68,847.40 in expenditures. Any questions on those reports? Okay, we have one bar, which is a transfer bar. And this is the Education for Homeless Children and Youth Grant. We had 15,000 in instructional or EAs, educational assistance line item, but we moved 9,400 out of there and 7,500 into the coordinator that coordinates the program at the school, and 2,000 to purchase gasoline cards for the parents that are homeless. Okay, and I have one journal entry. This is reclassifying items for budget maintenance, and we went over on one of our grants by $4,846.36 because they reduced it on the state side. So I moved it from the Indian Ed grant to the Indigenous grant. And we had the $4,000. This was on the outdoor equity. This $4,000 was for administrative costs. And that was for the grant writer. And I moved it out of operational into the grant. And then the backup is right here on sheet 1. If you want to review it. Any questions?
Miss Archuleta, this is Chato. Can you put the bar and the entry in the chat? I'm
Sure.
taking notes. Thank you.
Sure. And let's see. Okay, I'll go ahead and do that now. You guys have any questions for me? Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I just need approval for the bar and the journal entry.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Ms. Archuleta. Okay, with that, is there a motion to approve the bar and the, did you say journal entry?
Mr. Johnson, I motion to approve the bar and journal entry for this evening's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Do I have a second?
This is Mrs. So. I'll go ahead and second that.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Soap. All right, with that, are there any comments, any other questions for Ms. Archuleta? Okay, there being none, I'll call for the vote. Veronica So.
Mrs. So votes in favor.
Okay, thank you. Kirby Johnson in favor. Adam Begay.
In favor.
Okay, and then I'll go to Cody Fetty. Second call for Cody Fetty. Okay, next I'll go to Lucinda.
I vote in favor.
Okay, thank you, Lucinda. All right, then I'll go to Talaba Begay. Second call for Talaba Begay. Okay, with that, I have 4 in favor, 0 opposed, and 0 abstain. Thank you. Next, we'll go to E, or no, sorry. Is it new grants for approval? Oh, there was none, huh? Okay, go to E, Governing Council Committee, selection of committee members. E.
Um, Mr. Johnson, this is Mrs. So. Um, I did mention selection of committee members from our last meeting, and we wanted to select these individuals to serve in the capacity of the Finance, Audit, and Facilities Committee. But not all of our board members are present, so we have 2 that are out. And I'm not too sure, Nadine, if we want to proceed with this or should we defer it to the following month?
We can defer it. I mean, the only committee that's stable right now is the Finance Committee, which is made up of Miss Archuleta, myself, and Veronica. So that's basically, oh, and then the facilities too is myself and Troy Hunt. But we can wait until we get our full board members back on again to decide on that. That's up to you if you guys want to wait. Thank you.
I guess Mr. Johnson will just, whatever you all decide, because I know that we do have other board members. But I'm in support of deferring until we have the full board on the call during our meeting. That would just be, that would, I just like to share that, but of course, we have other governing council members as well.
Thank you, Mr. Begay.
Yes, Mr. Johnson. I would like to defer that as well, but when will we have a full board meeting? Our full board participating at our duly called meetings. I just have a solution to that. My recommendation would have been in contrast to that, respectfully, that the board members that are on this evening, we can be able to share our interests of which committee we can serve on. And then if we take action on that or share interest on that, we can have Ms. Chado or Madam President to email the board, including those that are absent this evening, to share if they would like to serve on a committee as well. If not, it would be three or 2 board members assigned to each committee. That way it doesn't meet a quorum during the committee discussion times. That would be my recommendation, just to have the board members who are on this evening to share their interests. And that way we can be able to tally who's on what committee this evening, and then tomorrow it can be shared with the absentee members to share which committee they would like to serve on. That way we can take full action at the next duly called meeting to confirm the committee members. And that's my recommendation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Begay. Ms. Lucinda, did you have any input on this also?
No, but I do agree with Adam. Um, if we need to have these items in action, placed, we need to do it sooner than later. Because if we keep deferring things, it's just going to go over, and then next we're going to have audit or whatever, and we don't have people in place. So I agree that the people that are here should be able to say, I want to be a part of this. So that's the only thing I have.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kinselboy. Ms. Shadow.
Sure. That sounds good to me. The finance committee, let me just tell you who's on it right now. Veronica and Miss So. Veronica So is on that. Um, Charlotte Archuleta, she's finance, and then myself. So we do need possibly one more person. The audit committee, of course, is myself and Charlotte Archuleta. We need two people on this one. Facilities, Troy Hunt and myself. And you all know who Troy Hunt is. He's with NISN and NISN supports us and they're helping us try to get the facilities plans moving forward and helping us get the new school site situated. So there's just the two of us on that committee. We need two people on that committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shadow. Right. So I guess if you want to do we just nominate ourselves, Veronica, or do we just get voted onto it?
Yeah, well, that's fine. Before I say anything else, I'd like to just concur with the recommendations that were made by Mr. Begay and Ms. Boy. So yeah, we can just go ahead and fill those positions. And I know in the past what we've done was whoever wanted to serve on the finance committee, they just expressed their interests, and then the audit committee as well, and then the facilities committee. So whoever wants, I guess you can just go off with number one, who wants to serve on the finance committee. And again, as Miss Nadine mentioned, two governing council members per committee. We can't exceed, we can't go above two just because of quorum status. So just keep that in mind. So Kirby, yeah, you can just do it starting from number one, Finance Committee.
Okay, all right. Are there any governing council members who would like to be a part of the finance committee?
Hi, this is Lucinda. I'd like to go ahead and nominate myself to be in the finance committee.
Okay, thank you, Lucinda. All right. So that's already filled now with the two. Is that correct, Veronica? Okay, are there any governing council members who want to be a part of the audit committee that are online?
Mr. Johnson, this is Adam.
Okay,
I'd like to share interest to serve on the audit committee.
okay. We have Mr. Begay. Okay, and myself, I would like to be on the audit committee as well too. So then I guess we can have the other two board members if they would like to be a part of the facilities committee that are not online with us. So, all right.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, could you read for the record who's going to be participating on each committee that are
Okay,
confirmed right now? Or those that
okay.
are shared interest?
Okay. Right now for governing council committees, we have financial committee. We have on there Miss Nadine Chatto, along with Charlotte Archuleta, with Lucinda Kitsilboy and Veronica So, who are on that committee for finance. For audit committee, we have Kirby Johnson, Adam Brigay, Nadine Chatham. Is that all that are on that committee? Is there one more person I'm missing?
Charlotte Archuleta.
Charlotte.
Oh,
That's
Charlotte. Okay.
Archuleta, yes.
Okay. Okay. And then for facilities committee, you said Troy.
Mhm.
Okay. And then I guess the other two board members, if they would like to be a part of that committee, they can. So there you go, Mr. Begay, for the record.
Just for a recommendation for the facilities committee, we'll go ahead and I guess include Talaba Begay and then also uh Mr. Fetty to serve on that committee as well.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Veronica, President. So for the okay, and then do we need a motion on that or
Mr. Johnson,
okay?
I recommend that we take action at the next duly called meeting just to confirm Ms. Begay and Mr. Fetty to confirm their um, interest and exception to serve on the facilities committee. A confirmation would validate all committees to be filled.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Begay. Okay. So with that, we go to GC training. All GC governing council members need to complete 5 hours of training. A gentle reminder that all governing council members are required to complete 8 hours of training. Ms. Chato.
I think there's a mistake there. I'm sorry. You the GC members that have been on for a while just have to do the 5 hours, but all new GC members have to do 10 hours. Sorry, it should have read 10.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
Sorry.
okay. So in there, I guess you probably had to be specific to where the regular governing council members need 5 hours and then the newly governing council members need 10 hours, correct?
Right, right,
Okay.
correct.
So I guess that's just for the record. Does that need any motion or action?
Mr. Johnson, this is Mrs. So. We normally don't put an action item on this, but um, we just kind of give it out for information. But I'd like to request for Nadine to go ahead and send out the number of hours that are completed by Talaba and myself. And because I think mine expired from, well, for my new incomings, um, my new incoming membership, I think I do need to do the 5 hours or do some of those carry over from last year? So that would be my question. So, but normally Nadine will be able to provide us the number of hours that we've completed. And I believe Lucinda Boy is already in the process of getting her training hours in. So just for your information, um, but if you have any questions, reach out to Nadine and she'll be able to provide that information.
Okay. All right. Thank you, President. So for that clarification. Okay. Ms. Chato, if you may, just email us our required hours. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, next we have H facilities land.
Okay, usually Troy Hunt gives us this update, but there are no new developments thus far. We're still waiting on the survey to be completed on the new site, and we're all set. I mean, from Dream to Net, we're ready to pay out and get that survey completed, but we haven't heard anything yet. So for now, we're just gonna have to wait until the next meeting to see how things are going. Usually Mr. Hunt will call me or let me know what's going on, but so far nothing's been happening, so we just have to wait. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Ms. Chato, for that update. Awesome. Okay, I guess we'll go to I, student enrollment.
Oh, okay. So that goes along with my report. Should I just go ahead and get started on that?
Uh, sure, yeah.
Okay. I'm just now getting over a cold myself, so if I cough, sorry. Okay, so right now we have 17 students. Again, we still have 11 staff members, 7 are part-time for our full employees. We just completed our 120th day count. We had 17 students that were present, so we had a little celebration on that. The 120th day, as well as the 40th day, we usually have to make sure that we have all students present because that's where our funding is generated from, the number of students that we have. We had also our student-led conferences on February 14th. We had 94% participation. Parents came in and worked with their students. This is a time for students to showcase their work, their accomplishments, and it really becomes interesting because we watch how our kids present their data and how excited they are, and parents usually, are kind of astonished to see how well our students are doing as far as even just presenting, because we have a really hard time. There are times when our students are really afraid to speak up, so we're trying to give them their voice. We had on February 21st, we had Eating with Our Relatives event. This was a time when our students shared a breakfast with their families, and we have, I believe, 15 families. They come in and they all, we don't provide the breakfast, we just provide the space and the time. So the families are the ones who contribute the food. And I believe we had an outstanding biscuit and gravy dinner or breakfast. It was really good. I missed it, unfortunately. I wasn't there. I got sick. So anyway, kudos to our families. They did an awesome job. Um, it was for an hour. I believe next month we're going to be sharing another meal with our families, and this time it's going to be lunch. Dream Dine, language and culture. Dr. Shepard and Mr. Warren bring such a great wealth of knowledge to this class. Right now, they're focusing on the traditional teachings. They're even looking a little bit about history. I walked in there the other day and they were talking about the rug. And, we don't have very many rug weavers these days. But when Mr. Warren was talking about the rugs, he was speaking in Navajo. So the kids were understanding and asking questions. Although they don't speak fluently, they ask questions in English and he responds in Navajo, which is something we're really, really working toward. We want all our teachers to speak in Navajo and we want our students to do the same. They're also reviewing their alphabets and then their short introductions. Kindergarten still has a little bit of difficulty doing this, but they're learning, they're getting there. We have in our ACE program, we're looking for people to assist in these cultural teachings. We have an event coming up on the 27th with Mr. Kevin Boleyn, and he's going to be conducting the shoe game. I believe I sent everybody a flyer on that. And if you want, you're more than welcome to come and participate as well. It'll be at the school. Right now, we're getting our materials together. The biggest one is to try to get as much sand as possible. But that's something really exciting for the kids and the families to be a part of. Our curriculum is still evolving. We have a pacing guide. We try to go through our lessons and try to connect them and try to embed the reading and the math components. So that's a lot of work. I don't know if you've ever tried to embed something into something else. It's really a lot of work and a lot of concentration. So we have some great teachers who help out with that. Our plant-based learning, we have a couple of field trips that we're going to be taking to a couple of national parks. where we're going to look at the environmental systems and how the environment impacts our our production of food. So we're going to be looking at plants, we're going to be looking at weather, we're going to be looking at location. One of the places that we really, really would like to see is Canyon de Chelly. And just talk a little bit about how the canyon had brought food and how the farmers in that area mass produced peaches, which was awesome back then, well, many years ago. But our field trips really have to be maintained and done on Navajo reservation, on Navajo land, instead of off the reservation. That's what our grant has entailed. That's our boundaries. So the Outdoor Equity Grant supports that for us. The ACE program is another grant that we use, and pretty much supports everything and anything from dance to art to cultural teachings, just everything. The students went to Albuquerque this past weekend and they performed at a hip hop dance, which the kids really enjoyed. They also got to see other different types of dances. They were introduced to some interesting art lessons, and I believe they did some artwork themselves. There is a video out. I'm still trying to get the ACE coordinator to send it back to me so I can show it to everybody. Once we get that, I'll send it out to the board that they can see what the students in the ACE program are doing. The reading and the math, we just finished with NWA. Ms. Thomas will share that during our next meeting. She's still collaborating and aggregating all that data. The iStation, we finished the February testing. Here are the results. The top one is math and the bottom one is reading. So if you notice in August for math, our students, we only had 14 that tested at that time. Majority of our kids were in level 2, which is something sort of like getting over the hump. And then of course the red when they're needing a lot of support. And then if you go through this from August, September, what we want to see is the red getting smaller. So back in October, we added 2 more students, and then we added another student in November, so the numbers grew. But we want to see this decreasing, and we want to see the bottom half growing. So I don't know what happened to February, but this is an area we're going to be working on. Just jump in, Miss Thomas, if you need to. The reading is actually really good. Our reading component looks really good. The green tells us that our kids are right where they need to be. The lighter green tells us our kids need just a little bit of a push. So they're right in the area where they could possibly do better in the next month. The yellow is a strategic area. We need to do a little bit more concentration in the areas that they're falling behind in. But if you notice for the reading, the red is getting smaller. So that's what we want to see on our iStation scores. When the testing is done, we get together during one of our PLCs and we look at our data and we talk about the things that we could do to improve the students' skills. So that's really a good time for us to get together to talk about those scores. We have tutoring services. I believe I mentioned this last month. We are dedicating our Tuesdays and Thursdays to reading on Tuesdays and Thursdays, math. And we have 8 students right now that are currently receiving those tutoring services. So we're going to be also implementing the reading literacy this summer. So from June 2nd all the way down to June 27th, we're going to be working with students in reading. And this is a statewide initiative. So we're getting funding for the reading program. And we're going to be using our own employees to teach reading and to work with our students for 4 hours a day. And it's a really interesting ratio because each one of our teachers is only going to be allowed to work with 4 students. And it's not just for our students. We can bring in other students in the area that are interested in being a part of this program. I believe if it grows, we can add another teacher. So it's really a good program, and we're hoping to get more students through enrollment. Maybe they'll see something at Dream Dine and decide that they want to come to our school. The PAC committee met on February 11th. They discussed officer elections. They talked about a little bit about scores. They talked about strategies for preparing students for assessments. Ms. Thomas led a discussion on the mission-driven learning team. We're creating capstones right now for our Dene language and culture for our students because that's part of our performance framework. So if you read the performance framework, it talks about these capstones. Families are encouraged to be a part of this conversation because we want to know what they want their students to walk away with when they leave for the summer or when their students complete a grade. Our professional learning communities always focus on data. We discuss strategies for addressing student needs, and that's continuous. As a matter of fact, we do this every week. Governing council membership, I spoke about this earlier. The meeting that was held last Friday was really intense, and we just need to make sure that we're in compliance with our contract and our performance framework. February 25th has been an active month. We did have a lot of successful events. We're still developing curriculum. We're still trying to engage our community. Our focus is educational practices. We want to make sure our community is involved. And one of the things that I didn't put it in here, but we really need to stress on is enrollment. We had a little bit of a hiccup at the beginning of the school year, and unfortunately, it impacted our enrollment. So now we really have to be working on next year's enrollment. We visited with the Head Start that's located behind our school. We have 2 students who are interested in coming to Dream Dine. We already got their application packets, but we're really needing to reach out more to the community. So that's going to be one of our biggest goals for the end of the school year. So as board members, if you know of anybody, if you could spread the word, you have any ideas on how to get more students to come to our school, please share out with us. I was talking to the board president earlier, Veronica So, and she suggested maybe we get on the radio station in Navajo and introduce our school and maybe advertise for a couple of weeks. I don't know what the pay is, I don't know what the cost would be, but that's a good idea too. We can probably explore that as well. So I don't have anything else for you. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. And again, enrollment's important and we need some ideas. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chado. Ms. Thomas, did you have any additional items for her for Ms. Chado's report?
Yeah, thank you. Did I raise my hand or did you read my mind? Okay, thank you, Vice Chair. So just to add on to the ice station results, at the beginning of February, it's just a snapshot ice station, right? At the time you test the environment, the time, there's lots of different factors, but Ms. Chado did mention, and sorry if I cut out, I'm driving, but Ms. Chado did mention we started tutoring, and we also started a pullout with the upper grades, where we see a lot of the concerns with our level 1 students are in kindergarten and 5th grade. Kindergarten has to do with attendance, and 5th grade is just that kind of that hump that we have yet to get over when it comes to those students are the last who went to their beginning grades, first grade, the primary like grades for foundations during COVID, coming back into remote. So they're still impacted by, just really not getting the level of instruction, quality instruction that they should have. And so they're making growth, which is great. Like I think if we look beyond just the scores that we see on the paper, we see student growth. You see the level of movements which the students graph in their data binders, and the students are aware of it. They celebrate their own growth. They set goals for themselves of what they need to pay attention to for the incoming month. And so as far as I'm concerned, what I see in the classroom, and which is the big like shift that I think is really important, is the students enjoy reading. Like they are, Miss Thomas, can I read? Can I go read as soon as they complete something? And I think that and giving those students those opportunities to read in the classroom without having to worry about answering questions necessarily, or we're filling out a worksheet or feeling like there's a task, but just want to read. So just bringing books in the classroom, finding out students' lexile levels, what are their interests, having conversations with the students about what they're reading is really meaningful. So I think that's the big one. We have students who have different kind of learning challenges or reading challenges right now. So we have, in addition to just the books in the classroom, not textbooks, but like books, a variety of fiction, nonfiction books. They utilize an online resource where the students who are struggling to read can get audiobooks read to them. So there's a lot that's going on, and I just wanted to add to that because, if we're not used to being in the classroom, we see that, and the scores, the colors, we just kind of think that there's not much movement and growth happening. But rest assured, there is. And next month, when we talk about NWEA scores, which is another set of data, we'll be able to have these other conversations as to where the students are. But again, coming in March, I'm excited to see how the tutoring has helped our students who have been in the struggled areas, as well as the pull out through a full month of instruction. We'll see the results of that. So just want to add to that. Thank you for that. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Board members, our governing council members, are there any questions for Ms. Chado or Ms. Thomas?
And this is Lucinda. I have no questions, but great job on your report, Nadine and Andrea.
Mr. Johnson, this is Adam. I have no questions nor comments, other than just congratulations to the team for working endlessly on the proficiency of reading. I just really encourage that, we really focus on the literacy of reading. I think the first part is in early childhood education is reading, proficiency. And, especially when we're a dual language program, I think that's the most important things, that we are able to walk a fine line of balance of bilingual English and Navajo. So I really appreciate everyone. Thank you.
Okay. Veronica, any comments, questions?
Um, No, I don't, but that was a very good report. I really liked the report on the with the parents being out there with that event that Nadine talked about. If we can just engage more of our parents, especially with parental involvement, because parental involvement is something that is really on a
Effective.
decline for not only Dream Dine, but throughout the school system, throughout the state. So if we can just continue to do things relating to family interaction, that is really good. So yeah, Otto, thank you for all the Dream Dine staff. You know, they're putting in a lot of effort to serving the students, not only with academics, but also with social events and things like that. So, yeah.
Okay. Ms. Shadow, did you receive my chat? I don't know. Um, I just wanted to say, oh, good, Ms. Shadow.
I was gonna say, not yet. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to know, are the test scores enough to get the Dream Dene out of the MRI or CSI or TSI school improvement? Would that be part of it?
Yes, that would be. The CSI designation is based on the state test. So the state test, the MMSSI test, is not conducted until the end of the school year. So for designation, I believe we've been in SCSI since last year. I have to go back to my notes again, but anyway, it's all based on our Vista scores, and our Vista scores are masked because we have such a small number of students. If the Vista scores are open to the public, they can pretty much see what grades, who's in certain grades, especially if parents you know the school as well as they do at Dreamed in It. Everybody knows everybody. So that's one of the reasons why it's masked. But we are in the process of trying to get out of CSI, and it is based on the Vistas, not on NWA and not on iStation. Those are short term assessments that help guide us to make those gains that we need to make on the vistas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Shadow. I just wanted to say a good job to your staff and everyone there, and also yeah, thank you. Okay, with that, do we need a motion on the head administrator report with student enrollment? President, so
Yes, we can go ahead and approve the report with the head administrator's report. And then we also should include the parent advisory committee. I don't know if I don't know if Nadine or if Andrea has something to the PAC report, and we can approve all the student enrollment, the principal's report, and the PAC report.
okay, thank you, President. So, Ms. Shadow, I guess the parent advisory committee.
We really don't have anybody to give us a report for the parent advisory committee, just what I had in my report about what they had shared, and that, we always try to make sure that what we're doing in the school, the parents are aware of, and we do that during the HPAC meetings. It's called the HPAC because hummingbird is at the beginning of parent, so it's Hummingbird Parent Advisory Committee. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Shadow. I thought it was going to be HVAC or something. All right. Um, okay, so is there a motion to accept the student enrollment J head administrator principal report, and then K there be no report? So I guess I and J with K. Is there a motion?
Mr. Johnson, this is Adam.
Okay, Adam.
Um, these are reports, correct? Just for information. Is
Yes.
that correct? Okay.
Yes.
I believe we don't need to approve those unless unless we're adding them to the minutes for for approval at the next meeting. Do I stand correct, or am I wrong on that part within our bylaws?
But President, so
Um, thank you, Mr. Begay, for calling out that question. You know, I think that's when we are having our board session, we can talk about the agenda because when I first became a member of the governing council, this was the way they had it set up, and we just kind of I mean, we just went along with how they conducted the meeting, but it could be revamped after we meet during our board session on how we're going to proceed with um, the agenda. In addition to the reports, I know you had mentioned to kind of combine the reports, so then we can have that discussion. So I'm open to any suggestions, but I just wanted to share that information.
okay, thank you, President. So, Mr. Begay. Okay, with that, is there a motion to accept the reports that were read to the governing council members?
This is Lucinda. I'll make the motion to accept the reports.
Okay, thank you, Lucinda. Do I have a second?
Mr. Johnson, this is Adam. I second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Begay. All right, with that, I'll call for the vote. Veronica So.
Mrs. So votes in favor.
Okay, thank you, Veronica. Kirby Johnson in favor. Adam Begay.
In favor.
Okay, Cody Fetty. Second call. Lucinda Kinsellboy.
I vote in favor.
Okay, thank you. All right, Talaba Begay. Okay, second call for Talaba Begay. Okay, I have 4 in favor, 0 opposed, and 0 abstain for the reports. Now we'll go to L. Next governing council meeting will be March 24th, 2025 at 6 p.m. And then I'll go to M, closing comments.
Mr. Johnson, this is Adam.
Go ahead, Mr. Begay.
Yes, thank you very much. Before we go into adjournment, like to be able to, um, do we have? I do have a question. Have we identified a date or a deadline to confirm for a possible March in or April 1 day work session? Do we have a timeline to get that completed to identify what day we're planning to do a work session slash special meeting?
Shadow.
Um,
I
Nadine, go ahead.
okay, go I just pulled up the calendar again, and I only have like, let's see. I have the 8th. Yeah, the 8th and the 22nd and the 28th available. I mean, those are the dates that two of the board members decided that they would like to do their meeting. So
Okay.
I think Veronica said she thought that those Saturdays would work. Saturdays work best. That way you're not trying to rush, and it pretty much leaves the whole day. If we do a weekday, then some people are still working and they have to get off work and then race to the meeting, and then it could be cut short because we all have to go to dinner around 7 or 8. So I think the weekends would probably work best. So we have the 8th and the 22nd open.
I think the question was asked is how long are we going to decide on the date for the board members to make a selection? Being that today is Monday, I think the deadline should be Monday, March 3rd at 5 o'clock, just so that everybody can get their input, and maybe Nadine send an email out and tell, hey, I'm on the phone. Okay, I'm on the call. And let the other board members know that this is very crucial so that we can get our one day completed. Okay. Shh.
Are you
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that. It's me time, and we got to do Navajo session. So you guys are working into his Navajo session. So
Oh no. Okay. All
he's
right.
coming
Sorry.
back to the computer, and I'm like, I'm still in my meeting.
Okay. Okay. So Ms. Chatto, I guess just send a time frame of when governing council members can respond to what dates they're available for the 1-day work session, and then I
okay?
guess we can go from there. Is that correct, Mr. Begay? And
Yes, that should work. That way, I mean, they got what 7 days to figure it out. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. So
okay. Veronica, did you have something to say also?
Um, I'm I'm pretty open, but the 15th and the 22nd are not good for me. The 8th works. And just out of respect for my colleagues that do work, I think a weekend is more of a better option. And then the other thing I also wanted to mention is the meeting that we had at Farmington School District
Mm-hmm.
admin building. That was a very good environment. So, a lot of open space as well. So, I would recommend that as well. But I'm not too sure if you have to put in sufficient notice to reserve the room. And remember, we have to block a day to get that room reserved as well. So that's just my comment.
Okay, thank you, President. So, Adam, did you have another comment?
No questions, nor comments after that. Thank you for the clarification and thank you for the recommendation to allow March 3rd to be the deadline to um, for, what is more available for each board member to convene a special meeting to go over the bylaws and um, new board orientation stuff. Appreciate that. I will fill out mine tomorrow when I get back in the office to look at my schedule. So I really do appreciate everyone's feedback. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Begay. And Ms. Shadow, did you have?
Yeah, thank you. I must have been somewhere else. But anyway, March 3rd will be the deadline for everybody to submit their dates. And I'll keep this calendar going. I believe everybody has access to it, all the board members. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. But we're still on, I guess it's closing comments? Yeah. Um, just my closing comment would be, could we get an update from Troy? That way, maybe if the new members are on, that way we can get updates on the land and the facility. Board members, any other closing comments? Our governing council, sorry. If there are none, I guess we'll go to adjournment. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Mr. Johnson, I'd like to motion that we adjourn this evening's meeting on February 24th.
Okay, I have a motion by Adam. Do I have a second?
I will second that. This is
Okay,
Lucinda.
thank you, Lucinda. All right, with that, I'll do the roll call. Veronica So.
Mrs. So votes in favor.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. So. All right, Kirby Johnson in favor. Adam Begay,
In favor.
Lucinda.
I vote in favor.
Okay, I'm not seeing Mr. Fetty nor Miss Talaba Begay online. So with that, I have 4 in favor, 0 opposed, and 0 abstain, and we are adjourned at 7:39. Thank you for joining us this evening, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Hey, Nadine, can you stay on for a minute? You're muted.
Okay, hold on. Let me,
Stop the recording. Okay.
Oh yeah.
there we go. Okay,
The only
Go.
other question I have is I did my quizzes, went through all the paperwork and stuff. Now it's telling me I need to do my 10 hours of training. So where do I go to get that? Is that something I have to drop down, or do I have to go call that lady that's on there from the state
Oh.
office?
Let me send you the webinars.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a place that you can go to get, and it's free if you do it online.
Okay. All right. That's what I was thinking, because I was like, is this something I have to pay for?
No, you
With
don't
my
have to.
state license, we have to go out and get the webinars, you know, I mean, the training, and some of them we have to pay for. So, and I just didn't know what am I supposed to do. So that's where I'm at now. 'Cause,
Okay. No, you're fine. And then, Lucinda, there's only one form that you need to complete.
I will see tomorrow. Are you gonna be at work tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be at the school tomorrow.
Okay, I can come in tomorrow.
Okay, then I'll have that ready for you.
Okay, I'll come over tomorrow. So probably about after around 9.
Okay,
So,
that sounds
okay.
good. I'll be
Yeah,
there.
today I was going to try to get over there, but I was running everybody's errands, so I just never made it that way. So, okay.
Okay,
All right.
thank
Thank
you.
you. All right. You have a good day.
You
Oh,
too.
Grandson
Bye-bye.
wants to say bye.
All right, bye.
You silly. Yeah, I don't know. They don't know you.
Lander, I paused recording.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you I was trying to jump back on, but it was still streaming.
Oh, okay.
You guys didn't,
Fine.
you guys didn't. It's still
That's
streaming actually right now until we
okay.
end the meeting, but I can stop. Well, I'm not host, so I can't stop it until we end the meeting.
Okay, so let me do,
So when you end the meeting, then
there we go. Is that right? It stopped recording.
yeah, but you're still streaming to YouTube.
Okay.
If you
I guess
promote me, if you promote me to host, if you promote me to host, then I can end it, but yeah, we're done. Looks like Andrea dropped off, so you can just end the meeting.
okay, thank you. See you tomorrow.
Okay. All right.